Everybody has a plan until they get in the battle. Planning is everything, but plans are shit. What do all these have in combine? Is that plans are shit, right? Like, sorry about that. Like, have you ever followed your plan, for 30 days or 100 days, maybe forever? No, why? Because they all fail. And why they fail? Because there are some things that are unpredictable and the plans require us to, be precise. And I thought I would be smarter than everybody else and create a sliding plan, a plan that's flexible. And let me tell you something, it didn't work. Why? Because on those days that I have a busy schedule, I don't do as much as I should, based on what I planned. Those days that I'm free, then I have too much of a time, then I do something that's, not in my best interest. So if I add more to the plan, then the other days suffer. If I take less, then this day suffer. Then you may say, well, Timo, then just plan for Monday to be less busy and weekends to have more things to do. And to you I say that would be a good plan, unless you know my schedule. My schedule is so chaotic that I don't even know it. And not because I want it, it's just because things happen and there are some outside forces influencing them. And sometimes I go to Novi Sad to hang out with my friends and they keep telling me, Timo, you have to tell us at least one day in advance. And I'm like, listen, I would, but I don't know myself, will I have time to make it for you? And they're like, how do you not know? And I'm like, depends on whether I make it on train or not. And that depends on my college. Like, if I get to go home early, then I make it on a train, then I can hang out with you. But your professor says, well, this time we have to stay longer because you didn't finish the lecture. Lecture is really, really important, or we have an exam or something like that. Then I have to stay longer, and I cannot tell you today what's going to happen tomorrow. Like, I can give you, my prediction, but I cannot, tell you that in advance. So I give them like, hey, there's a 70% chance I will be able to hang out with you tomorrow. So you probably know about this thing, where this is like my, this is February, this is March, and this is April. So in this case, like, I tried to make my schedule flexible, like, hey, focus on these things when you have time to them. And I'm like, it's cool, it worked until I went to college and I was there from 6 in the morning till midnight, and I'm like, I can do 0 things on that. And that was a problem, because when you stack up 3 or 4 days, when you do 0 things on your plan, then you kind of don't want to do your plan on weekend. So do you know what's going to happen? This. I'll take this off. I'll do this and I throw it away. Why? Because it's not important and I have a new way I'm gonna plan. So it basically goes one of these 2 ways. Either I'm gonna plan it one night ahead, or the morning, the first thing I do in the morning. So probably the second thing, but it's better if I do the first one. So basically I'm gonna check my schedule for tomorrow, because I know almost all that's going to happen tomorrow, and then based on that I'll say that this is the most important thing you have to do no matter what. This you should be doing, and this if you have time. And then I'll try to knock those off, and then if I can't, I push them for the next day with either one level of priority higher, or to put them as the first priority. I don't know which one yet. Probably the second one is better, but not sure. So I'm still thinking about that, but I'm kind of already doing it, as a test. So when I wake up, I'm like, what I have to do today, then I try to knock it out. And I'll try to do it, earlier in the morning, because I realize that I keep postponing things till later, and then later I have to, do it everything, and then I don't get to bed as early as I get. So that's on my mind. Like, planning is important, but plans are, full of shit because everything failed. Mike Tyson says everybody has a plan until I punch him in the face. So, life is your Mike Tyson. It will punch you in the face. Like, no matter what you plan, like, something's going to happen. Then you have to adapt, and that's why, like, keep it short, maybe 5 or 7 things, and like 3 of them should be like most important that you have to do. Then 3 more or 2 more should be like, hey, this should be done today. And then 2 is like whatever, if you have time. And then rest of it you should have like free time. And or those 5 or 7 things occupy your whole day. But why should those be so important? I'll probably talk about that maybe tomorrow, like domino effect. So that's topic for another day. So let me recap. So number 1, you should plan. But number 2, expect your plan to fail. Number 3, make like a day-to-day schedule, and and then improvise if something doesn't happen. And then if you cannot finish everything on that list, then put it tomorrow as a highest priority, because if you keep postponing it, then you will never do it. That's like one of the problems with those things, and it happened with my title creation. Like, I kept postponing it, and then I never did it. And then last night I sat for like 4 or 5 hours, and then I translated everything. It was just annoying, and I could have avoided that if I translated the videos on time. So that's what I have to say for today. I see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.